Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.
What's going on, y'all? This is Boss Ro. Here's your reading for the month of September for the singles. All right, guys, if you like this reading, please like, share, subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Let's get started with your reading. All right, so we have the What's the News deck, guys. I'm going to pull from this deck here. We'll get some more clarity from the Tarot deck and then also end with the Hard Truth deck here as well. Let's get started. So we're going to start with the What's the News deck here first. Let's see here. So we got Spiritually Woke. All right, we got Red Flag. Let's see here. Got Wine and Dine. The Cleanse. Okay. I'll pull a few more cards for you. Let's see here. We got Lucky Break. Let's see. We got Knocked Up in Reverse. Rebound. We got Super Signs. I'm going to pull two more cards for you. Roller Coaster. One more card. All right. We got Turn. Okay, cool. Let's get started. So, guys, I think you guys are in a space right now. You have Spiritually Woke, self-awareness, cutting through illusions, detaching from ego. Okay, so you could be in a space right now that you dated someone and you're sort of what's in that get to know you phase, but you're already seeing that this person really doesn't really align with how you sort of go about, getting to know someone. They kind of rush things, okay? We got Red Flag that came out here too, okay? Warning signs, taking heed, risky situation, okay? This person here, I think they appeal to your love languages, okay? Some of you guys can have like words of affirmation. Some of you guys can have physical touch. Mind you, I think they got into your aura really was from, displaying that they gave you the attention from the love language that you sort of like, it makes you sort of connect further and a lot more easier in these connections, okay? And I think you guys are realizing that could be like a red flag for you. You're putting boundaries in your love languages. So, when it comes down to, for example, okay, quality time, okay? You meet someone, you spend quality time with them, okay? They show their love by expressing that quality time. However, during the week when you're meeting this person or you get to know this person, you're no longer going to be in this space where you're so just open, your schedule's just open for this person, okay? Just because they show that love language towards you doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries in the situation, okay? And I think that's what you're getting, that spiritually woke type of message in this scenario, because you're like, okay, not only do my boundaries need to apply to my physical space around me, it needs to apply towards my emotional health as well, okay? Approaching things from a dating level, you guys are trying to be in a space where you're not trying to lock yourself down or be in a space where you icing over your heart, okay? You want to be openly there, okay, in these relationships, but you got to know how much of your time, how much of your energy you're giving to the situation, okay? If you're in a space where you're sort of like, overly extending yourself, okay, or someone like, they're coming into your direction and they're ready to wine and dine with you, okay? Like I said, we got courtship here. We also have consistency dating and romance decision. You guys are really learning how to say, okay, when is it time to sort of like, pull my energy back and sort of like, observe the situation and sort of be in my own energy too, okay? You're not losing yourself in these relationships, okay? You're seeing that, okay, the big red flag for me is like, if I approach these situations and I'm losing myself and I'm not really, spending time to like, have my own cleansing aura, okay? Detox, ridding negativity and really observing the situation, you're going into it kind of blindly, okay? You're finding that, this person like who was in your environment, they went about, they said the right things, they said things on the right type of physical type of level, but it really wasn't really worth anything to really be considered like, okay, a lucky situation. Okay, you got a lucky break. Okay, good fortune, good things coming, turning point, but you got knocked up. Okay, in reverse. Okay, it doesn't really have to go about with having a baby or anything like that. It has to go about knocked up, meaning okay, having that maternal energy. Okay, that steady relationship. You're realizing that this situation for you was not something that was really held on a growing type of level. Okay, you could have realized this person really saw this as a rebound situation, and they were really like putting in that energy towards you, like okay, in a fast type of hurry. Okay, because they don't have any, like I said, we got like flighty, and we also had, like I said, unpredictable expectations. They probably was putting in all this energy, but they're trying to put that energy into you without going about their own healing type of journey. Okay, this person could have had like no type of boundaries. Okay, and you realize that through their interaction and and hearing about their past relationships, you're realizing that this person, they could have been like talking to someone in a short time span when it came down to like communicating with you. Okay, they don't like being alone. I think that's the biggest thing that you're seeing from this individual. They don't like being alone. They don't like being in a space where they have to go about emotional healing, and this puts you in this whole situation where you feel like, okay, I'm being used for my energy. Okay, they may have showed you, like I said, that understanding that it appealed to your love language, but you're realizing that you guys are not gonna have this oversized, supersized expectation when it comes down to someone who's not really healed and puts you on this roller coaster ride. Okay, you got supersized, doing too much, excessive overindulgence. I think this person had a lot of things like when it came down to emotional overindulgence in the situation. You guys are realizing that with this person putting in that energy, they had you on this roller coaster ride because once they could have got back in contact with an ex, okay, or they could have put all that love bombing energy towards you, but once they sort of got their emotional fix, okay, off of the situation, they sort of pull back their energy, okay, and put you on that roller coaster ride. Or it could have been a situation where you're dealing with this person and you're getting to know this person and you didn't realize that they had turnt behavior, okay, party animals, sex, drugs, alcohol, and you're like, okay, you know what? I lowered my guard down. I lowered my my expectations and my boundaries because they were saying all the right things, okay? And that's the thing, guys. Just because someone is saying all the right things doesn't mean that they're a healthy person to date, okay? It's important to know your own type of love language or what you're attracted to, because just because someone is showing you that that loving energy doesn't mean that they have negative behavior, okay? They can still be out there still giving that turn up energy, okay? They can still have a lot of things, like I said, like having you on this emotional roller coaster, okay? And you don't want to be somewhere, just getting high off of, their emotional attention, okay? You don't want to be shut down either. This is a learning space for you to realize that, I want to be emotionally, available towards people in my environment, towards people who I'm dating or considering dating. But I also want to be aware and be aware as far as what lowers my guard down. So I won't be in a situation where I'm dealing with a red flag situation. Okay, I'm dealing with a person that's not really looking to grow with me effectively. They're looking to avoid their emotional growth on a larger level. Okay, so you guys are really seeing that now. You're really getting that that mindset, that clarity to have you not winding up in a situation where you're playing the rebound game with someone, and that's just like a healthy knowledge. Okay, you guys are going to get that clarity. You're in that cleansed perspective. Okay, and that's, like I said, the best thing to really realize, because you're doing a deep dive, not playing the blame game for someone else. You're realizing, okay, this person brought this energy towards me, but I'm spiritually woke to realize, okay, why did I accept this behavior? What's the trigger behind me allowing my emotions to really, like I said, take a deep dive for a person that's not really to give that proper investment. Okay, you're realizing what love bombing is in these emotional situations, and you're now finally able to get the clarity and the healing that's necessary to move forward. Okay, let's get some more clarity from the tarot deck here. Let's see here. Let's see. So we got the Eight of Cups. We got the Page of Cups. We got the Queen of Swords. We got the Hermit. We got the Devil. All right. Let's see. pull a few more cards. Got the Seven of Cups. Okay, we got the Queen of Wands. So we got the Eight of Pentacles. We got the Knight of Cups. I'm going to pull one more card for you guys. Got the Three of Cups. And the Empress came out too. I'm going to take that as well. Okay, let's get started. So we got the Eight of Cups. So you guys are knowing to walk away from situations that no longer serve you, okay? You're realizing that this person came into your life with this Page of Cups type of, offer, okay? They came to you. You're the Queen of Swords. It's all energy, right? And then you're realizing that this person didn't really have that much to really invest in the situation, okay? They came with a cup, all right, but it's just on that emotional type of level, that fast type of energy, okay? And you guys are probably in a healing space right now where you're like, okay, you know what? This was a toxic situation. This person didn't really want to invest, like I said, in a healthy relationship. Okay, they wanted to have me tied down, but don't weigh yourself down with this energy. Okay, half of the battle is understanding what brought you to this type of mindset, what brought you to this relationship, to sort of like have your guard down. And the biggest thing that I said for you guys was understanding how you're attracted to certain love languages. Okay, if you know that, like I said, having that quality time and you're with someone like, week in and week out, and you don't have that time for yourself to really have your own quality time for yourself, and also to, protect yourself and have those emotional boundaries, then that's how things can sort of come into fruition for you in a fast type of way, because you're not giving yourself time to really, like I said, detach from the situation and be in your own mental headspace, okay? See what's going on, how you feel about the interaction, also seeing when this person, is around you when you say no for the first time, okay? You guys could be in a space where, with this situation, you sort of had that little bit of that people-pleasing type of energy, okay? You're realizing that's not going to be substantial later on in your dating life, okay? This didn't really have you that much in the dumps because, like I said, you got the Seven of Cups, okay? You could have been in that hermit mode for a little bit, okay, but you're realizing that, okay, you know what, next time when I get back out here at this dating market, I'm going to have more so this Queen of Wands perspective, okay? I'm going to be able to realize, what's healthy for me, what I'm going to put my work into, the Eight of Pentacles, okay? One thing about this, the Queen of Wands, you see a little bit of the burns on her. It's like, just because you guys were burning the situation in the past, okay, with this individual, you're still the Queen of Wands, okay? You still have that energy, that positive type of energy, and you realize that, next time when someone comes to you, okay, without a proper type of cup, you got the Knight of Cups, you're like, hey, you know what, I'm not going to be celebrating with you, okay, if this is not really worth my time, okay? You're realizing that, okay, if this person's coming in, just as appeasing to your emotional well-being, it's not going to be something that you're going to be drawn to. You're going to see, okay, you know what? All these words that you're saying, okay, all these, affirmations could be, like I said, or, physical touch. You're like, okay, I'm having boundaries with that. You're no longer going to be played in the game when it comes down to these relationships, okay? You're going to realize, okay, what to give to the situation and when to say, you know what? I'm not going to put so much on the table with this. I'm going to make sure that I'm like, in a space where I'm looking at this from a logical level as well as an emotional level as well, okay? Does this person, okay, they're saying all the right things emotionally, but are they really, in a space as far as to really grow in the relationship, or is this all through talk, okay? You're realizing that because the Empress came out, okay? Like I said, it's all energy here. So you're realizing that, okay, for someone to grow with you, not only do they need that emotional maturity, but they also have to have that logic in their head as well, okay? And also willing to be on the same page with you and not just trying to like use your energy in a rebound situation, okay? Like I said, guys, you're taking your time, okay? You're really analyzing your options, okay? Because this situation, you're like, I'm not trying to be in this situation again, okay? You're realizing that, just having that emotional tie to these relationships or these situationships, it's not going to be a major factor for you to just be on that one type of perspective. You have to bring in a whole nother type of level of understanding on how to deal with people, in the dating market, okay? And you're going to go about that in a flawless type of way. Because like I said, the Empress, that's someone who has that, marriage potential, okay? That's someone who's looking for a long-term investment, a long-term relationship, okay? And this is what you guys know. This is what you guys are looking for. And you're not going to pick someone that's looking to just use you to just get over their past, okay? Just having that wine and dine perspective, okay? Not a healthy place to be in, okay? We're going to pull from the Hard Truth deck here. And let's sort of wrap that up and see what's going to go on as far as, like, some last-minute messages with Some hard truth, okay? Let's see. Let's see here. So we got ancient history. Risk versus reward, okay? So we got ancient history. You wish things were different, but the past cannot be altered. Focusing on the present is more productive and will support the changes you wish to see, okay? Let's see, okay? We got ancient history. And I think that's what you guys are in this space right now, especially when the Hermit card came out. You know, you're processing it. You're like, okay, I wish that I would have known more about the situation. I'm really to protect my energy, okay? But you know what, guys? You're still moving forward in a healthy direction. Like I said, the Empress and the Queen of Wands came out, okay? You really had that understanding as far as, like, you know, how to go about, you know, your romantic situation, okay? Don't be, you know, stuck on ruminating about the past or ruminating about, like, how this person got into your sphere. It's a learning lesson, okay? You're learning about your emotional well-being. You're learning about, you know, how someone, you know, how they display love to you and what can sort of have you lower your guards, okay? But this is just a moment. This is just a learning experience, and that's what happens when you're meeting different people, okay? People show you as far as, like, you know, the kinks of your armor, okay? So you're realizing that, okay, I could be aware as far as, like, you know, what's going on around me, but I don't have to shut myself down. I don't have to shut myself down and be in this hermit perspective, okay? Because, like I said, that Empress has that emotional maturity and that emotional understanding, and she still has that soft type of lens, okay? All energy, male or female, okay? It's still a softness that you're taking in with getting to know people around you. It doesn't make you hard. Having self-awareness does not make you, like I said, you know, a shell of yourself. It's just now you are aware of how to process and how to move forward with meeting people in your environment, okay? We got risk versus reward. The risk outweighs the potential reward. Be realistic while weighing the pros and cons. And I think that's something that you guys are taking heed to as well, because, like I said, we had that Queen of Swords that came out. What's actually going on, okay? You know, if you hear someone talking, yeah, they could be saying a lot of things that appeal to your love language, but okay, if you're realizing that they are, you know, whining and dining you, but they are not over, you know, their past, then you're realizing that's a risk. That's a red flag, okay? You're realizing that, okay, this person has a lot of that turn-up energy. That's a risk, okay? That's not a reward. That means, okay, you know, they get caught up on a lot of vices, okay? And, you know, having your energy around them is a part of their vice, okay? Along with the alcohol and everything else that they're probably dealing with, you know, you're realizing that, okay, you know what? I'm not going to have my emotions tied up to something that's just a risk perspective, because that's not a wise thing. Because you guys are realizing that once you sort of get yourself in these situationships or in these relationships where you're expecting that growth, you're sort of like landlocked in, okay? And you're realizing, you know, as time moves on, you can't landlock yourself into these situations without really getting to know someone on a little bit of a slower level, okay? And not letting down your emotional guards in the situation, okay? Like I said, just because they appeal to your love languages doesn't mean that you let go of your guards, you know, with someone off the jump, okay? Or it could be, like I said, it could have been like a short-term situationship or a short-term relationship where you're like, okay, well, I took that time to sort of, like, you know, see this person, but I only saw, like, the positive things because I was just sort of, like, you know, put all my energy into that get to know you phase based on what they were telling me. I didn't really observe it in a deeper type of lens. Now you guys are taking your time to really realize that and really allow yourself a chance to process your emotions, okay? All right, guys, this is your singles reading for the month of September. Looking forward to talking to you soon. Have a good one.
Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.